What's up, everybody? Do a brother a solid. Hit like, hit subscribe if you like this stuff. I got all kinds of content, but I do enjoy doing the watch stuff. I've gotten into watches lately, and let me know that you like the stuff or don't. Leave a comment. And yeah, so let's get started. Just woke up, so woke up to two watches I want to unbox and kind of go over and see what I like and what I don't like. So the first one is going to be a Bulova. And I'm going to do them in separate videos. The other one's going to be a Citizen Eco Drive Diver. Really nice one. We'll do that one after this. But the first one's going to be the Bulova. And I went with a Precisionist. Is it on here somewhere? There's the model. That's what we got. So this is, I got it off Amazon. Normally these were like $350 or something for a while. And then, I don't know if they've been discontinued, but I was able to pick one up for like $216. And it is very interesting. So we got a simple box here. It's like a spring-loaded, kind of a nice box, snap shut. So a nice hard protective box. It's more than cardboard, it's something. You've got your little warranty card and setting instructions. You can get all online, I guess. Simple packaging. You got your little watch pillow. Went with this one. I've got some with metal bands. I wanted to have a leather band. A nice little tag here. Let's just take that little guy off. Let's see what this thing is about. Oops. Hopefully it's shockproof. Like I said, I just woke up. All right. So what do we have? Looks like we got a protective layer. Ooh, I saw that. I was like, oh no, there's a scratch on it right out of the box. And I was like, no, wait. Okay, we aight. That's good. So that would suck. So this one is a smaller watch, a smaller diameter. I think this is like a 41. Let's see if I can pull up my order history and see what the hell it was. So this model specifically is the Precisionist 3-hand calendar in stainless steel with black leather strap and black pattern style. 96B, B as in boy, 158. Made in Japan. 30 mil water resistance. It doesn't say here what the size is, but Amazon sometimes is kind of with the spec. Oh, there we go. 42. All right, so it's a 42. Case length is 42. All right, cool. So here's the nicest thing about this. This is a very sleek, I think a very pretty watch. The leather band is going to need to break in a little bit, but that's all right. It feels pretty good right there. There we go. That's a nice looking watch. I like the tuning fork emblem right there. If you focus in on that, looks good. It's a very, almost like understated in a way, but it's also a very pretty watch. It's just a simple 3-hand with a date, stainless steel. Trying to focus in on the dial. It's a very flat. It's understated at some angles, but then when the light hits those markers for the hours, like it really kind of lights up. They're super high polished. There's some depth to the texture and the layers. Like actually in person, it's a really nice watch. From a distance, if it's at that kind of angle, you're just like, oh, whatever, he's got a watch. When you look at it and you take the time to actually look at it, you're like, it is actually pretty fancy without being overstated and like over the top flashy, like, let's see, like the Submariner clone from Invicta. Like that looks very flashy with the gold, really stands out from across the room. Or this homage to a Rolex Daytona in that particular gold and black. That's very flashy. That stands out from a distance. This kind of doesn't. It's nice. It's very clean, and it's actually very good looking. This one's going to be more like my Tissot, which, if you remember the review from that, I may have talked about how it scratched up the handle a good bit. Just wearing it during the day and riding on the table as I was typing and using the laptop all day in the office, it actually was scratching up little fine scratches in the mirror polish on the handle, on the band, the clasp. So I went and got the leather band, and I think it actually looks better. But this is going to be kind of like that, you know. This is black leather, and it's more of an alligator skin kind of whether it's actual alligator skin and pressed in, whatever. It looks good. It's a genuine leather band. It's a Bulova. It's a good watch. But that's going to be now more like my Tissot, where when you look at it up close, you're like, that's actually a really nice watch. But from across the room, it doesn't necessarily grab your attention the way some of these other ones would, right? That's what I kind of like about it. Here's the coolest thing I think about this watch, especially at this price point. Do you notice anything about it? Look at the second hand. Do you notice how it's just sweeping smooth? This is about the smoothest sweep of any action. It's better than a lot of the Rolexes. It's up there with like that Super Spring, whatever I forget the name of it because I'm still learning the terminology, but the Grand Seikos. Look how smooth that second hand is. As opposed to, let's see, these are digital. Where's one with a sweeping hand? And this is, you can say, oh, that's a cheap, yeah, okay, but that's indicative of what most normal watches, even some of the higher, spend $1,000 or something or $2,000 on a Tag Heuer, it's going to be more like that. Click, click, click. Look at that one. This is a 262 kilohertz crystal. It has like 16 beats per second or something like that, which gives it a nearly smooth. If you're watching really close under high def, you'll see that it's made up of little tiny movements, but this smoothness rivals like $30,000 Rolexes. Now, I'm not saying this is as good as a $30,000 Rolex overall. What I am saying is the movement is amazing in this thing. Additionally, the wife's home for the dentist, so the dog's going to start barking. Additionally, this crystal that drives this thing, drives the movement, the 266 kilohertz. Oh, it's a neighbor leaving. Never mind. Dogs won't bark. So not only is it an amazingly smooth, sweeping second hand, the accuracy of like most good watches is 10 seconds, 5 to 10 seconds plus or minus per month. Like that's a good Seiko or good Swiss movement is 5 to 10 seconds accuracy per month. On automatics, it can be 5 seconds a day on some of those movements. You got to really get a much better movement to get more accurate than that. This is plus or minus 5 or 10 seconds per year. That is insanely accurate. That is more than most of those Rolexes and the high-end Cartiers. I mean, you don't really get, even if you go and spend $50,000 on an automatic self-winding, high-end luxury, true luxury watch that costs as much as your car, they're typically not going to be as accurate to 10 seconds per year and have that sweeping second hand, just absolutely nice and smooth. That is absolutely amazing for, you got a sticker on the back, what's it saying? Japan movement, but the band was made in China, but the movement's Japanese. Okay, cool, whatever. I got a protective cover on it. Yeah, let's take that off. And then there's another one there. Let's see what this looks like. Get that off. Get the smudge off from my finger. Beautifully polished. Beautifully polished. It's very comfortable. And the band has to wear in because a lot of times they sit straight. They have to start to bend and curve. Otherwise, they're kind of trying to pull away from your wrist. It's thin too. That was the other thing. I've got big watches. I've got my G-Shocks. Big, chunky, heavy-duty, hell and back, throw them in the pond, come back and get them the next week, and they're fine kind of shit, I've got my inexpensive sort of homage watches up here. You want to talk a big, heavy watch? This thing weighs like 9 or 10 ounces. It is insane. This Invicta, I think it's a Pro Diver or something like that. I got a new band, put the battery in it, stuff like that. This is a beast of a watch. I may have to give this away to someone that's got bigger wrists than me, but that's a big watch. And even this guy here, it's look how thick that is. This is a Tissot, nice Swiss timepiece. That's a lot thinner, man. It's smaller overall, but that is just a Oh, that's just a beautiful, clean looking watch. I love the dial. I love that it is a little bit understated. Wow, when you take the time to actually look at the details, you're like, that's a really pretty watch. And the fact that it's that smooth and that accurate. And I'm just realizing today's February 29th. So let's see. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to have to go and reset all these watches tomorrow. There is the positive of the digitals, right? They know that a leap year and what months have less than others, whereas the mechanicals, I didn't even think about that, having a bunch of mechanical watches. I'm going to have to go and reset the date on all of these tomorrow. That's going to be annoying. Anyway, that's the price you pay to have a nice quality timepiece. So that's my first Bulova. It is really impressive. That is an absolutely beautiful watch. So we're going to go ahead and put that. I've got my cheap homages up top. And then I got my actual decent watches on the bottom that are quality. None of them are luxury. I don't have the money to spend at the moment. Can't justify dropping thousands on an actual luxury watch. But honestly, I will at some point. But I think at this point you could say, well, I've got enough watches covered now. I have more than one for every day of the week. I've got my G-Shocks. I've got my Tissot. I got my Bulova. These are all inexpensive. I mean, up here, that one was probably 80, 55, 55, 32, 30, 54 maybe, and 32. This whole top row, which are nice looking watches. They all keep time. They look nice. I mean, there's nothing wrong with them. Go buy watches like that. You don't need expensive watches unless you just want more expensive watches. But we're talking this whole row up here might be $250 for 6 watches. You can get a lot of watch for the money if you go that route. But I did want to have some that were kind of decent. I wanted some ruggedized watches, one that's really big and chunky and has the compass and temperature gauge, and then one that's a little thinner, that maybe a little nicer if you're in the office. But then I wanted a couple, nice name brand watches. So we've got now the Bulova to go with my Tissot. Tissot I love much better with the leather strap. It's a little more comfortable and it'll wear better. And then we got one more. I know I got 2 empty spaces here, but I don't know what the other one would be. But we're going to do a separate video of, sneak peek, that bad boy. That's all you get. You got to watch the other video if you want to see what that one's about. So that's what we've got for this one. The Bulova's great. I'll put a link up to it on Amazon. I don't know how long they're going to be around at that choice. But if you want to spend if your budget for a watch is, you don't want a cheap $20 Timex. You want something that's maybe around, up to $200. It's just over, but I'll tell you, man, for $216 I paid for this, to get a watch that beautiful with that accurate of a movement and a nice leather strap and it's stainless steel. The water resistance on it is not awesome. Only 30 atmospheres, so it can get rained on, but I wouldn't submerge it. But on a nice dress watch with a leather strap, you're probably not swimming, going in the pool and getting salt water in your damn leather band and stuff like that. So those kind of watches don't need heavy water resistance. I'm not worried about that. If I want water resistance because I'm going to be out doing something and swimming, I've got these two that are 200 meter. That one's 100. I think these are 100. And then I've got 200 on these. So these 4 are all 200 meter water resistant. So I can go scuba diving if I want. Any reasonable depth that I would ever go, and I'd be fine. I would probably take the G-Shocks just because I trust their water rating maybe more than the $55 Invicta. But on the Bulova, you don't necessarily need that. And this one's also got 200 meter water resistance, so stay tuned for that video. But that's the Bulova. I'll put the model number and the link to it. Get it on Amazon while you can, because they're not going to last at that price. They're either going to go off sale, or if they're discontinued, they are going to be gone. But for that movement and that accuracy, and get that really beautiful, elegant, clean, sweeping second hand instead of you're not going to find another watch, I don't think, anywhere near that price range with that smooth movement. The only other movement I've seen that's that smooth are when you start getting up, I think maybe one of the Rolexes, but you get into like the Grand Seikos and stuff. Those watches, I think the cheapest little bare bones ones start at $3,200 and they run up over $100,000. So if you want a movement that's that kind of smooth, you either better have deeper pockets than I've got, or consider that Bulova right there with that movement, or any other watch that's using that movement. I don't know what other ones do. Bulova's got that 266 kilohertz quartz. If they've got other models with that, then you should get that same effect. But that is that thing is the balls. So anyway, love it. Really nice. Love the band. Love the high polish. Love the tuning fork on that. Love the tuning fork on and I love the knurling. It's almost like if you're not a car guy, you might not get the reference, but when you look at the way that it's twisted like that, if you had like a twin scroll supercharger on your car, if you've ever seen the turbines, that's what they look like, except, longer and deeper. Giggity. But it's just a cool looking watch. For that price, for that accuracy and movement, man, thumbs up. Of all the guns, knives, I'm so used to talking about guns and knives. Of all the watches I've got, there's a couple fantastic watches, especially for the value and stuff of that one. And G-Shocks are just the balls. But honestly, if you're like, I need one nice dress watch that looks the part, it doesn't break the bank, but it's a legit quality, really nice watch, and it's not crazy expensive. I mean, you pay $1,000 for your cell phone that you're going to keep for, what, a year and a half, 2 years, if you're lucky. It's $215 for a watch that you could have for the next 20 years. Is that really that expensive? It's not. Everybody thinks, oh, $200 for this or $500 for a watch, that's crazy expensive. It's really not. You spend way more money on disposable things like phones and smartwatches. You buy an Apple Watch that's good, and you're going to wear that for maybe 2 or 3 years. And then the battery's going to be dead. You can't change them, or it's going to be outdated and you can't they won't support it anymore. It won't work with the new iPhone because Apple are dicks that way. And then you're going to throw it out and buy a new one. Everything you buy is disposable these days. But you could buy a nice watch. If you take care of it, you can hand that down to somebody. Other than changing batteries in this, it doesn't need anything. $200 is I'm going to say effing. I'll just say effing. It's an effing steal for a quality brand, well-made timepiece. Get it. Seriously, go get it. That of all the ones, I may like other ones a little bit better, but when I'm talking about like quality for value and that kind of accuracy, just the things you get for that, I may like the aesthetics better of this one that I'm just giving you a taste of, because that is an amazing watch. Might be my new favorite. But I would say go with it's the better buy. It's the better value. Yeah, if you just like this more and you want to spend twice as much, then yeah, go for it. But that thing is just, that's a really cool watch. So anyway, I'm going to stop gushing over it. It's phenomenal. I'll put the link in the description and stuff like that. Go check it out and pick one up. And if you do, let me know what you thought, what you think.